All right, welcome everybody. This is Cade with Go Wellness, and I'm going to be your host today. Can I get just some hands raised to make sure my audio is working and you guys can see what's going on? Hands raised. Mike Jones, can you hear me? Dr. Michael Jones. I just like calling that name out. All right. So all right, can everybody hear me? All right, now we're working here. All right. So welcome everybody to Go Wellness webinar. This is Cade Archibald on the line with you today, and I'm going to be going over using health coaching to increase patient results and overall happiness for patients, as well as yourself and your clinic. So just to start it off, I want to get a good gauge on what you're looking to learn. If you wouldn't mind, just type a couple things into the question box or the chat box, so I can have an idea of what what you're looking for. And if there's anything in particular, because I want to make sure I'm touching on those things. The biggest question I have, and you can just answer this yes or no, is do you have are you familiar with what a health coach is, and are you looking, or would you be interested in using a health coach in your clinic rather than maybe hiring a second practitioner, an associate, or something like that? It can make things a lot more cost effective, and it can also really actually increase your patient results because patient compliance goes up so much. So we're going to jump in here in just a moment. Just to give you guys some background on me, if you have not heard me speak to you before, my name's Cade Archibald. I'm the director at Go Wellness, and I help Reagan. Reagan Archibald's the founder of Go Wellness and East West Health, and I help support a lot on the back end, and then I'll do some of a lot of the coaching, implementation things, and then some of these webinars. I'm usually the host here, and so today I'm actually going to be running the show. So if you came to listen to Reagan's voice, I apologize. You won't be able to hear it, unfortunately, unless he calls in on his drive up to Layton. He is doing a luncheon today, and so he's not able to make it. So I am really excited to be talking to you guys, and hopefully you can get some great information out of today that potentially could be a big game changer for your clinic and how you do things, or at least what I hope it does is gives you a better outline of what different possibilities you have on expanding your service centers in your clinic. And I'll go into this, but overall, you have kind of two options when you're looking at running a health clinic. Is you can either just see a lot more patients to increase revenue and to increase growth, or B, you can start implementing new innovative service centers, which don't necessarily have to increase patient visits or the number of patients you have, but it overall should increase overall revenue and overall patient results and happiness. So we're really excited and honored to discuss this topic today. This is something we've been working on for a while, and we feel like we've really found the special sauce with our clinics and how we've started implementing health coaching into the mix, because it is something that we just newly implemented and discovered. So let's talk a little bit about I'm going to pull open the slides here and make sure you guys let me know if you can see the slides. Just put something in the chat box. All right, perfect. All right, so everyone can see the slides. All right, so let's talk about the facts on from a medical side and a medical integration. We have 40 to 80% of medical information given is actually forgotten immediately, and half of that is retained incorrectly. That seems absolutely crazy to me that most of the information that we give our patients, they don't remember it, and then of what is retained, 50% of that is not correct or not accurate. That could drive your patient results down pretty significantly. Second piece is physicians actually thought 89% of patients understood medication side effects, when only 57% of patients understood. And these are all studies done in some different medical journals. But if you look at how we perceive our communication compared to how patients actually perceive it, it's pretty wild. Practitioners or physicians, we are obviously not doing the best. We're not being super effective in our communication. And so that's one thing that we really need to work on is being able to effectively communicate to our patients the game plan, but then getting that to the next step where they actually implement it. So before I jump too far into kind of what are some of the solutions to that, I want to talk about what does what our clinic should look like. So, we have our clinic right here. If you're a single practitioner, that could be, you just do acupuncture, or maybe you do chiropractic, you do acupuncture and herbs, some of those things. What happens is you're stuck in this. And now with chiropractic, that can be a lot of different services within that. As far as different decompression, a lot of different things are available there. But I just want to give you a good idea of ultimately the only way to grow in this sort of model is to increase your patient visits. Get patients to either come in more often and longer term, or just find more new patients. So what we like to do and what we found is expanding our service centers is really how we can start implementing better medicine, but then also the second part to that is getting better results and increasing our revenue. So you can add in labs, and that's why we talk a lot about functional medicine. And if you're looking at implementing functional medicine, labs are critical to being able to identify customized medicine based on your patients. Classes, so you need to be educating constantly, and that doesn't mean you educating, that just means your clinic needs to be educating. And so that's where someone in your office, it could be you, it could be an associate, it could be someone at the front desk that's really passionate about health can actually teach those classes. You need to have some nutritional guidance, some things there. And the last thing that we've found to be that missing piece is lifestyle coaching. Lifestyle coaching is one of the things that we have found to be exponentially beneficial for our patients. This is where you can help hold them accountable, that you can obviously you can help educate them, but it's more on the application side of things rather than just the educational side of things. So it's more of an implementation factor. And that's what I want you guys to really think about here, because this is where you would want to have health coaching a part of your overall program. So I want you to look at things a little different, because some of you may be thinking, oh, well, yeah, I'm doing some lifestyle coaching for my patients. Really ask yourself, how effective is that, and how that's going. As practitioners, we do a great job at communicating what's wrong in the body, having some solutions on how to treat that or improve function, whether that's adjustments or using needles with acupuncture or using different herbs, supplements. Those are all incredibly important and very important and very beneficial, and you can get huge results with your patients with all those things. But you have to look at, as a coach, a healthcare provider is not necessarily going to be the best coach. In some cases, if you're Dan Kellums, Dan, thanks for joining us. If you're Dan, you're just amazing at everything. But no, I'm just teasing you, Dan. You're absolutely amazing at everything. But yeah, if looking at it from a provider perspective compared to a coach is really going to help bridge that gap with your providers, and help actually implement the lifestyle changes that your patients need to make, because that's where it's crucial. We can do all the best, we can do a ton of cool labs, we can do, hand them a million different herbs, give them the best acupuncture treatment or the best adjustment in the world. But if they leave our office and continue to go down the same road they've been going on, we are not going to get much result with that patient. And so that's where lifestyle coaching really comes in. So what is coaching? So let's talk about the different components there. So with coaching, you have managing. So that's making sure people do what they know how to do. So that's more the accountability factor. If someone knows, how to do something, but they're not doing it, that's more of just a check-in and making sure they're actually following through with that. Training. So this is teaching people to do what they don't necessarily know how to do. And that's where coaches can be invaluable. Mentoring, so that's really showing them how those who are good at doing some things do them. So for example, if you had a health coach, they would actually be teaching your patient what they do to stay healthy. And obviously if someone wants to be a health coach in your office, they sure as heck better be healthy and consistently working on their health. The fourth thing is the coaching piece. So help identify skills and capabilities and empowering your patients. So that's where they really are noticing, okay, this patient loves to do outdoors exercise, so I'm going to help tailor my coaching towards doing some different hiking or doing finding different things that would excite and motivate that specific patient. You guys would all agree if this is how we approached some of our functional medicine visits, we'd have phenomenal results with our patients. But the real question is, do we have time to go over all that after we've just taught on labs and we have a whole big line of patients? Because you're probably all thinking, well, I do this or I can do this, but I had someone saying there's some technical difficulties. Will everyone just let me know? Can everyone hear me okay? I just got a message. So we got yes. Can everyone see the slides okay? Susan, you may need to maybe try logging out and logging back in. I'm not seeing everyone else can hear me okay? Okay. All right. Yeah, try, Susan, try logging out and then logging back in. I won't go too far, I promise. All right, but uh, let's let's okay. All right. So here's another uh, some more staggering statistics. So can can we be engaged? And this was a study that we looked at to see how increases in patient activation got better results long term with self management behaviors. So this is a little scary. So only 23% of the patients adopted new health behaviors, but they were actually unsure if they could maintain those if they got stressed. The remaining 77%, this is how it breaks down. So some were just passive recipients. They didn't really take the advice and do anything with it. 29% was lack of basic facts to follow treatment recommendations. And then also the 36%, and then a bigger chunk, 36% of those, where they had all the facts, but they just didn't, they lacked the skills and the confidence to really implement what doctors were asking them to do. So when you look at this statistic, um, it really shows you, okay, we as practitioners and we as a healthcare organization really need to start looking at things differently and maybe implementing things differently. Health coaching's actually been a very growing field, and more practitioners and more people are actually utilizing health coaches. Um, and that's where I think you can look at really in improving your overall patient satisfaction and patient results while not increasing your overall expenses by adding in another associate acupuncturist or something like that. So, or a chiropractor. So here's some myths. So right now you're probably thinking, well, I can coach on my own. I already coach my patients. I'm a great coach. I want you to honestly be honest about that and ask yourself, are you really? Um, typically, practitioners are great at finding what's wrong with the body and treating what's wrong with the body. The communication side on, how to start reversing that and holding patients accountable and really following up with that. Unless you have all the time in the world, you're probably not able to do that too effectively. Patients don't want it is another myth. Patients love getting guidance. They love tactics. They love being held accountable, and they love to have someone to connect with maybe a little bit different side of things. And then third thing you may be thinking is, well, I can't afford to have one on staff. Which that's very valid, but some things that if you want to get creative, you can be extremely creative with this. My front desk gal, she's actually going through some health coaching certification programs, and she is one of our health coaches. We have almost all of our, I would say half of our staff through our 4 different clinics are health coaches. And it's not, they still do a lot of administrative side of things, but we've started implementing these more of a coaching flow, and you can have them perform both jobs on the administrative side, but then also have them more involved in your healthcare and more involved in the coaching side to help patients implement better. And they can do that through, we do your classes, but then the second part you can do, the really important part in my mind is the one-on-one side of things, where you're really mentoring and really helping guide that patient through their obstacles, identifying what their obstacles are, because a lot of people it's in their head. So why coaches? For patients, ultimately they need to master their lifestyle. Um, and in order to master lifestyle, they need a coach. You can give the best diagnosis in the world, you can give the best herbs in the world, you can give the best treatments in the world, but if you are not helping them master that lifestyle piece, long-term wise, they're things aren't going to be, they won't implement what you need to happen with the lifestyle. Second part is coaches can actually help bridge the gap between the doctor and the patient, and they actually ensure that implementation happens. So obviously you want your coach to be very aware of what's happening in the conversations with the doctor, so you need a good communication line there. But if they understand that piece, then they can really help drive home what needs to happen lifestyle wise, and make sure, so you remember those statistics we talked about. So if you look at these statistics, so you have these 12%, you can't necessarily you can't change the passive recipients, but a coach, that may be able to, they may be able to motivate that person, so you eliminate at least half or even more of those passive recipients. You make sure everyone has the basic facts. So if they have questions based on, oh, I didn't understand exactly what the doctor meant by this. All right, perfect. This is what he meant. All right. And then, a lot of them actually, they get the facts. They just don't lack the skills and confidence. And that's really where your coach is going to shine. They're going to help them develop those skills, and they're going to help them develop confidence based on those, because a lot of what coaching is actually finding what is, what that big obstacle or what that big barrier is, and usually it's an insecurity in someone. So if you do a good job at finding that, that's amazing, and that's a great gift. And a lot of coaches, we actually train on how to find that. So this can all be some very effective ways to implement coaching into your programs and your overall clinic. If you're a one-person clinic right now, or you're a 10, 20-person clinic, this is it's something that's very feasible for both. That's where you can really add it in at a very low cost, because it's someone that you can pay based on a reasonable hourly rate, and then you can make tweaks on what you want to do from a coaching perspective. All right, so let's talk a little bit about education and self-management. So you have, on the education side of a patient, you have information, technical skills. This is what the doctor gives the patient. On the self-management, this is where we're trying to get a patient so they are going to be self-managed. That's the goal with functional medicine. That's the goal with anything, that they'll actually implement what you want to do, and then a year down the road they are doing amazing, and they're a totally different person, and they're referring everyone they know to your clinic because they realize how much you impacted their life and how much you changed their life. So they have the skills to act on those problems. On the education side, we'll find the problems due to poor disease control. On the self-management side, patients can actually identify their problems when they're self-managing. We have a lot of, as a practitioner, you have a lot of disease-specific knowledge. As self-managing patient, we can improve patient confidence to change based on what they find. On the education side and our side, as a practitioner, our goal is behavior compliance to improve outcomes, because we know if they follow our recommendations and all those pieces, they'll have amazing results. But if they don't have compliance, they won't. Um, and then on the self-management side, you take that a step further, and the goal is increase self-efficacy to improve the outcome. So they are, really following through, being very mindful of their body, and doing everything they possibly can. All right, so I talked a little bit about how we feel like we've recently found that special sauce, or that formula that really works well for us, as far as implementing a health coach into the clinic. So really, when you're looking at adding in a health coach to your clinic, you want to train your coach in your own way. So that's one thing that you can tweak, because some people may want your patients coached a different way. We have our coaches set up to be very specific to what we're looking for and what we want. We set up accountability coaching sessions for patients. Typically, there's somewhere around 6 visits, along with the functional medicine visits. So those are totally separate. Your functional medicine visits are when you're going to be reviewing labs, giving lifestyle guidance based on the labs, and then prescribing your herbs, educating on what's happening with their body, helping them understand that piece. The coaching sessions are really going to be them implementing. So the coach is really going to help hold that patient accountable and ensure they're implementing, because it's hard for the practitioners to keep up on that in every single scenario. And also, I want to stress again, if you're looking at expanding your clinic but not taking on the burden of an additional associate, or an additional practitioner role, or even a medical doctor role, if you want to do functional medicine, this is a very cost-effective way of adding in a very highly capable person to help motivate change in your patients. And you'd be blown away at how much happier patients will be, and your patient results will be phenomenal as well. You'll also, with that, you'll see improved collaboration between different places. This is what we've seen in our clinic as we've started implementing more and more of these health coaching visits, and having more health coaches on the team. Improved collaboration, increased appreciation of each of the disciplines, and really, people just cooperate better. Improved satisfaction, better communication. That's been an awesome thing, because now you have more and more people in your clinic that are involved in care, rather than your front desk is typically, they're taking names, taking people back to the rooms, or whatever you have their roles as. But a lot of times they're not very involved in the patient care. But when you have a health coach on board, that health coach is going to be communicating very well with that front desk person, or if you're like in our clinic, your front desk person might be a health coach, and so they already know all those things. And then, I think another key nugget is improved productivity of consultation time. So this is the time that you're able to spend with your patient. So now you're not focused on making sure they're doing everything you told them to. You're just able to really communicate with them, see what potential problems are coming up health-wise, address those, and really it saves you a lot of time, and puts that more onto the coach to help them continue to implement and push that forward. And it's a great service center line as well. You can obviously charge per these visits, and they can be extremely beneficial. All right, so what's some of the coaching content? So what do they actually talk about in those sessions? Because we teach you how to do classes, and each of the we have all our curriculum and classes, but those one-on-one coaching sessions, that's where they can actually help identify and come up with the specific plan for exercise and physical activity, we always try to get our patients to have a specific physical goal, like a physical challenge that they obtain, and so that coach is really going to help push them to accomplish that goal. They're going to help come up with an exercise plan or a workout plan. The second piece is stress management. So this includes, some different forms of meditation, breathing exercises. This includes an array of different things that if that patient's stressed, okay, what are some exercises that they need to do and what they need to go through? Diet is that's very intuitive. Obviously, they're going to be helping them ensure that they have all the skills they need to follow through with the diet, helping them come up with a meal plan if they don't have one already, and really help fine-tune that piece. And then mindset and behaviors. So like I said before, a lot of our patients, we find the biggest barrier, the biggest roadblock we find with them is their mindset, and they just don't think they can do it, or they have that defeated that defeated persona. And a health coach is really going to be someone that we train to overcome those things and really get someone to be real, get in the presence. That's one of the biggest things that we find with health coaching is your patients, in a lot of cases, and I think you'd all agree with me, is they do not have the ability to be present. Their mind is always elsewhere because they're worried about so many different things, whether that's stress related or their mind is just racing. And so those coaches will train them on how to be more present. So we actually have 6 different specific guides that coach through that help go through those overall sessions. And so we've actually put together a coaching program. So it's a Go Wellness health coach program. We have it starting November 2016. And this is for anyone that's looking at, maybe they want their staff to become a health coach, and get trained on, how to be a more effective health coach, how to go through the 6 specific coaching visits and assessments to ensure the accountability and implementation, or maybe you're looking at potentially hiring a health coach. This could be kind of a gateway into that. If you wanted to hire someone as just a admin or just someone off the street, and then they can they have the desire to go through this, and they can go through this type of program. We do have limited space for it. We've set it up. It's only $197 a month to be part of the program. We have live training in Salt Lake City will be in November. You can also attend that over the web. This teaches ultimately how to be a coach and how to really bridge that gap into that communication between the doctor and the patient and ensuring implementation. And really you're going to see phenomenal results with your patients. Like I said, we're accepting applications. If you're interested, email us at info@gowellness.com. From there, we will, reach out. One thing I'd ask, just tell us if you have a couple staff members that you're interested in, because some people have done 2 or 3 staff members. We do need a head count on that. Like I said, we do have limited space, but we can at least take a look and see if you'd be a good candidate, or if there's some additional things you need to take care of before you jump into adding a health coach. But send us an email at info@gowellness. That'll give us an idea of what would help you as far as implementing that health coaching. We will require a deposit once you're accepted into the health coach program, or whoever your staff member is or whoever you'd like to enter into that, or if it's you. Our health coaches are going to be the ones that are training a lot of those pieces. Reagan and I will be training the owners on really to ensure how it implements, make sure it gets implemented smoothly and everything there. Overall, that's gives you a good synopsis of what you could do to implement health coaching program into your clinic. And like I said, this is something we've put together because we've seen such great results with our patients. You can continue to try to get your patient to implement. But what we found is we take a lot of time, and some of the patients just aren't. They don't hear it after they've gone through all the labs and the diagnostic pieces, and your time is so valuable as a practitioner. So this is what we've found to be a very cost-effective way to help up patient results, up patient satisfaction, and up overall revenue collections in your clinic. So once again, if you're interested, email info@gowellness.com. I really am honored to have put on this webinar for you guys today. Hope you guys learned some good things about how you could be better coaches if that's where you're at. And also this gives you a great solution on how you can start implementing health coaching into your clinic almost immediately within the next few months. So until next time, well, before I go, I want to open it up for questions and make sure if anyone has any questions, I'll let you type some things into the chat box real quick, and I'm up for answering any of those. If we don't have any questions, we got a pretty quiet group, but Dr. Mike Jones, thank you so much for being on today. Mary Maurer, Heather Jones, Brian Coyle, Susan, I hope the technical difficulties, you got those figured out. Dan, thanks for joining us. Dan, you're awesome. And Dr. Patty, thank you for joining. We got a few others on there drop off, but you guys are incredible and can't wait to see your phenomenal results going forward. And you guys have an amazing day. And we'll finish with some I Need a Doctor.